everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bilikis. How you doing? It's good to be back after a long time, and new tutorials is going to keep raining in. Today's class will be on how to make this one side hold the shoulder kimono short dress, which is very beautiful. Now, what does it entail? Looking at this side, we have it as an off the shoulder, while this is a kimono sleeve. You can decide to have the off shoulder anywhere and the kimono sleeve anywhere. Then on this side we have a flared sleeve gathered here with an elastic band. So what are the required measurements needed? You need the vertical measurement, that is along the body from the nape downward. The length of the dress I'm working with is 30 inches because this is a medium size measurement. 30 inches. Then half of the armhole is 7 inches. Waist measurement is 16 inches. That is the nape to the waist. For the hip measurement, that's 23 inches. Then the center back to sleeve measurement is 12.5. What do I mean by that? From the bone at the back of your neck to where you want this kimono sleeve to stop. So that's the measurement. For this medium measurement, it is 12.5 inches. Like for me, a plus size and a wider shoulder, it is 15 inches. Bust measurement now to the horizontal around the body. Bust measurement is 38 inches. Waist measurement is 30 inches, while the hip measurement is 40 inches. If today is your first time of checking out my channel, you're welcome. And please, you can check out my other channel, Pattern Drafting with Bilikis and Bilikis Kitchen. Also on social media, Instagram, Bilikis Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovations. For sewing tools and online classes, I will put the contact number in the description box below, so get in touch with us. Now let's get started. I have my fabric folded. I'll just cut this up. So what did I do? I have 1.5 yards of fabric here. So all I did was to fold once equally this way and then fold back into half again, because I'm cutting both the front and the back together. Now we start by the length of the dress, which is 30 inches. 30 inches, then plus seam allowance of 1 inch to hem the lower part. Between 1 to 1.5 is fine, so that makes it 31 inches. So I have the length of the dress to be 31 inches. Then half of the armhole measurement is 7. From the measurement I have here, the armhole measurement is 7 inches. But because this is a kimono dress and off the shoulder, I want it to relax a bit, so I just added half an inch to make it 7.5. Then to the waist measurement, it is 16 inches. Then vertical hip measurement 24, and the length of the dress, which is 30 plus seam allowance, which makes it 31. And then while folding, you fold with the measurement of the center back to the sleeve measurement. So having folded the fabric, now we have to cross check, which is 12.5 inches. Then for seam allowance to join the sleeve to it, so add extra half an inch, that will make it 13 inches. So I have to check that. So that's perfect. I have up to 13 inches. So having done that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to insert the 3 inches, but not 8 inches standard now. So first the 3 inches, then the center back to the sleeve measurement, which is 12 plus half, 13. From that 13 inches now, I'm just going to come down by 1.5, because I'm working with a medium measurement, medium size measurement. But for me as a plus size, I will do up to 2 inches or 2.5. But 2 inches is fine. I'll connect from the 3 inches down there, because the shoulder slope will give it its fitting. Okay, that's good. So first, let's deal with the kimono part before we go to the of the shoulder and pay attention. So what I'm going to do next is this. First, let me just insert all the horizontal measurement. The bust measurement I'm working with is 38 inches. When I divide that by 4, I'm going to have 9.5 inches. So I'm just going to measure 9.5. Then plus seam allowance. For this, I'll just add half an inch, but you can do up to 1 inch, that's advisable. So plus half an inch seam allowance, that will give me 10. You don't need to add his to the bust area, because why? It is a kimono dress and the other side is off the shoulder, so everything will just adjust itself. After that, we'll go into the waist measurement, which is 30 inches divided by 4. I'm going to have 7.5. But you just want it to pass through you freely, and you want it free at the waist area, so I'm just going to add extra 1 inch to that. So 7.5 plus 1 will give me 8.5. Or you could do up to 1.5, depending on how free you want it to be. But 7.5 plus 1 inch is fine, that's 8.5. Then going to the hip, is 40 inches divided by 4, that will give me 10. Then for that too, I'm going to add his to it to make it about 3/4 is fine, depending on how hippie you have. If you have so much hip, just extra, you can just leave it at that, or just half an inch to 3/4 inch. So let me just add 3/4 inch to that 10 inches. And then we shouldn't forget the seam allowance we added to the bust area. So that's half an inch seam allowance. Then to the half an inch, that's to the waist. So we already added the half an inch to the bust area. Good. So the next thing now we'll do is this. This is the point whereby we measure the 12 inches. You can confirm again, but now going along the slope. So 13 inches is actually here. Now for the opening, just make use of the half of the armhole measurement, and here I have it to be 7.5. So just add extra 1 inch to it, which will be for seam allowance at the upper part and seam allowance at the lower part. So 7.5 plus 1 will give me 8.5. So from that opening, just make it straight, 8.5 inches, which is here. Now from that point, just go in by, let's say 1.5, 1.25. Just to give it some fitting. Like for me, I'm going to make it 10. Instead of this 8.5, I'm going to make it 10. Yes. So here we have 8.5. So half will be going off from both sides for seam allowance. The next thing will be to connect from this point straight to the waist area. Use your pattern master to make a curve here. That is formed. The next thing will be to connect from the waist to the hip area. For this type of shape, there is, this measurement is for a curvy pressing. Now to the hem, if it is for somebody that is not so hippy, you don't have so much hip, just take whatever measurement you have here, which is 11.5, and place it straight down here. If you are not hippy, you just connect it in a straight form. But for this measurement I have, it is hippy because for size for someone with waist 30 and a hip of 40 is quite big. So all I will do now is to go in by 1 inch. So whatever measurement I have here minus 1 inch, so 11.5 minus 1 will give me 10.5. If you are not a a hippie person, just make it straight. Or half an inch, might not do up to 1 inch. I'll just make it half an inch. So now you can see the kimono area is formed. Very, very beautiful. Now let us go to the other part, which we are also going to draft in the same pattern. So what do? You can just make use of your shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement for this medium size measurement is 15. When you divide that by 2, you have that would be 7.5. So 7.5 inches will be here. 7.5 will be here. So we are drafting for the off shoulder now. Then how much you want it to be off depends on your preference. So for this, I'm just going to make it 4 inches is fine, because we are still going to finish the neckline. So you both want 4. You don't want it to be too low. 4 inches. 4 inches. Let me make the shoulder measurement straight so you'll be able to understand what I'm doing. That's why I have to use the calico fabric for you to see all the markings. Now it is up by 4. You could even make it 3.5 if that's what you want. Having done that now, the next thing will be to come in by 1 to 1.5 inches, because it's an off the shoulder. You don't want it to be exactly where the sleeve is. It's going to look funny. So I'm just going to come in by 1.5. That's where the armhole is going to be. Can you see that? Remember, when we're taking the horizontal measurement, we marked for the bust measurements. For the kimono area, we don't need that, but for this of the shoulder, we actually needed the measurement. So all I have to do now is to just connect using the straighter part of the armhole curve. So just to the initial measurements. Can you see that is beautiful and very, very easy? So we have a measurement of 2 in 1. And remember, you have to connect from this bust area to the waist. We've connected this one, and we are going to also connect the off shoulder. Now, right from the seam allowance that has been added. Can you see that's just pretty easy? And I hope all the markings shows. So this side is for the off the shoulder, while this is for the kimono. So having done that now, you need to determine the neck width you want. With this off the shoulder, we already determined the neck depth. Now for the neck width, you can just make it 5 inches might be fine, depending on your preference, but I think between 5 for a medium-sized person. Like for me, I could just make it either 5 to or 5.5. That totally depends on your preference. So let me just make it 5 here, depending on how off you want it to be. So 5 will be here. Like for me, I can make it 5.5. So having noted that point, we will now cut it out. So we are cutting the kimono part first. Then here. Then across. Now I'm going to notch that neck width region, because we are still going to need it. Good. So that's the neck region. Then don't forget to notch the hip area, because all those points has to match, and the waist. beautiful. So the next thing we are going to do now is to open it up. Because of the notch, I know this is where the neck width is. From this point now, I'm going to connect straight to the other side. Let me see what we have. Now we can cut this. Look carefully. Now this is the off shoulder part. So I'm going to cut from here. Let's cut ready. You see, that was pretty easy, very easy to make. Now we have the off shoulder part being fitted and the kimono side. So the next thing will be to cut the flare sleeve for the off shoulder side and also the band for the sleeve opening. Get your fabric, then fold into two. After that, I'm going to fold diagonally. Make sure it is even. Then I'm just going to mark that. So to make it easier, all you have to do, just make use of half of your armhole measurement, because here you are making use of an elastic, so you want it to be full as possible. So if you don't want it to be so full, you can just take away 1 inch from that. So the half of the armhole measurement for this medium-sized person is 7 inches. So I'm just going to use my measuring tape and mark 7 inches. Please use fabric marker or tailor's chalk when you are marking, but because I'm teaching, that is why I'm making use of all these markers and all that, because you need to understand what I'm teaching. This is what I have. So after doing that, the next thing, because you don't want to have a hole in the middle after cutting it up, take your measuring tape, go up by 3/4 inch, then just form a curve. You see that? So it will prevent any funny shape. Good. Now the length of the sleeve, I want the length of the sleeve to be like 6 inches is okay, or 6.5, depending on your preference. Now there's going to be an elastic on it, so for the elastic casing you need 1.5 inches. So half for the seam allowance and 1 inch for the elastic, so 1.5. So to the 6 inches or 6.5 inches in length of the sleeve length, you need to add that 1.5, so that will give you half plus 1, that's 8 inches. Yeah, 6.5 plus 1.5 will give you 8 inches. Then for the lower part, we need to hem it. That's another 1 inch, so that makes it 9. So we need a length of 9 inches. So starting from the upper markings now, 9 inches. The sleeve is ready. Now this is what the sleeves look like. So can you see now I didn't have any funny shape here. So everything just good. So this is what the sleeve look like. So with the elastic, to have it so full and beautiful. So we need to make some adjustments at this hem. So get back your pattern that was cut out. So this is the opening now. So just place it here. So this is the part where you are going to fold the 1.5 for the elastic casing, and this part will be attached to the sleeve. So you can see that was so easy. It's going to be like, you see, so with the elastic you have something like this attached to it. So can you see? That is it on how to make that. So the next thing is to cut the band here. Lastly, to cut out the placket for this part, the sleeve opening. So all you have to do is to measure whatever you have here. Here I have 9 inches. So just get a piece of fabric. So for the band, I want it to be 2 inches. Then for 1/2 inch to attach it, so that should make it 2.5. So unfold, I should have 2.5. So good, which is what I have here. So opening it up, you should have 5 inches by, since this is 9, that will be times 2, which is 18 inches. Why? Because it's just going to run from one end here back to the other end. So that's 18. So here I have 18 inches by 5 inches. So this is what we would have. So 2 inches for the wideness and 1/2 inches to 1/2 inch to attach it. So this is what we are going to have. Can you see? So it's going to be folded on it. So this is what we have. Although we are going to take 1/4 inch at the shoulder to sew it up, and then it's just going to fit perfectly. So this is what we have. Now I've just attached this, and then you have something like this. So for the elastic, you just hold this up to make it unfold the shoulder. So this is what the beautiful dress looks like. So how do you sew it up? The first thing you are going to do is to sew it up at the shoulder by 1/4 inch. Then just use a bias tape, a bias strip to just finish the neckline. After doing that, you attach your sleeve opening placket. After doing that, then you fix the elastic to this flared sleeve. After fixing the elastic, then you can keep it aside, join it by the sides, then you attach this flare to the sleeve, off the shoulder sleeve area. So that's just it on how to make this beautiful dress. You can see it is very easy to make, and ensure you make yours. Yeah, so if my tutorial on how to make this lovely dress has been helpful, please give me a giant thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I remain your girl Bilikis. Bye.